Anyway, all right, we're going to try to do natural edge bowls. Caveat of natural edge bowls is that you've got to turn it fast. And if you don't want to, if you're scared of fast, don't do them. Anyway, what you do is you can take either a whole log or a half a log, find the center on one side, and then find the center on the other side. Trick that I do if I have a really strange piece of wood that's kind of hard to figure out where the center is, I have a waste block with a nail in it. What I do is punch a hole on the flat side and center it and push it up against there, and then bring the tailstock out, and you can get the center. Oh, I gotta turn. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I better now? There. Okay.
Better.
Now I might. All right, so once you find the center, you start it out between centers with a spur drive. I use a 2-prong spur drive. And you put it on this side first, bang it in, and then bang it in again. If you're using wood, let's say mesquite, it's best if you have a drill press, drill out the area until you get down to good wood. That way you can set the drive into the wood. And another trick I've done is if it starts to tear, put a little CA in there, and that'll stiffen up the fibers. Anyway, this is a piece of Arizona ash. It's rectangular. You can cut the corners off on a bandsaw. I chose not to do so. And put it in here. And initially, don't pinch it tight, because what you want to do is have the bowl be balanced. You want to make sure that this edge and this edge are at about the same spot. Otherwise, when you have, here are some examples. So it looks kind of funny if you have one edge is down here and another one is up here. So if they're out of alignment, you sort of back the tailstock out and kick it off to one side and just get it to where it's going to work.
These sides are even from the center to the edge?
Yeah, right here. So you see here, hitting my finger. They're about the same.
You're aligning the back edge of it?
They're right here. This will be the top edge. And as you go, if it looks like it's not going to be the same, you can take it off and move it a little bit, adjust it. Anyway, tighten this up. Anyway, stay out of the line of fire and start nibbing away. Are you looking at the top? Are you looking at the top? Yeah, initially, just get rid of, make it quasi-round, and then you can when you turn greenwood, a lot of times the bark will stay on. This is bone dry, so the bark is coming off. And if the bark comes off, take it all off. Don't try to glue it back on. Because if it comes off, you can finish it and then paint the edge a different color so it stands out.
Why you don't treat it?
How fast do you turn,
Right.
Kirk?
This, what are we at?
Yeah, it's in the back.
This is 2670.
That'll work.
So usually on my big lathe, I just turn it all the way up. Anyway,
What speed are you running?
2670. Anyway, and then if you, again, if you're turning greenwood and you're cutting this way like you normally do on a bowl, it'll lift the edges of the bark up. So to get a smooth edge, it's really hard to see in here.
What's that tool?
Huh?
Just a regular bowl gouge?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to be using this little chuck, and it's just straight jaws. It doesn't need a dovetail, but it needs to be a little bit, you can't grab air, just a little bit, so. It's not too bad.
What are you looking for?
Just smooth curve. Anyway, this is a 5/8 spindle gouge, and tried this to Now remember, you can't stick your hand in here to see how smooth it is. You can do it once, but that's about it. Anyway, if you're working with green wood at this point, what you need to do is you have to seal the area where the bark meets the wood with CA glue. Mesquite is especially bad in that because you have the bark, the cambium, the sapwood, then the heartwood. If you don't seal that with CA glue, the cambium shrinks and it goes down. So instead of it being just a smooth surface, you'll have a trough all the way around where it dried. You may want to leave it thick, let it dry a little bit, and then return it at a later date, because it should dry out pretty fast. But just all the way around, put CA on it, and seal it. And then at this point, you can sand it. And again, when you sand it, a lot of this is going to have to be with if you have a disc with a power sand it. Because if you spin it, what's going to happen is you're going to round over the edges. So leave it not spinning. I mean, once you, from here down, you can hit it with while it's spinning. And do that. Anyway, fairly nice surface. And time to turn it around.
You said if it was dry wood, the bark comes off easier.
Yeah.
Do you put CA on it before you start? Or?
No, that's because when you're turning this way, the bark is not adhering to the wood all that well when it's dry. So it's going to lift and come off. So it's best just when you get fit. And also it's got bugs have been in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a real handy chuck. It's not very well built, but it's the job done.
That one Paul's truck.
No, this is from Craft Supply.
Only downside is that you have to after the edge of the sport rolls. Comes to it, has this weird groove and it won't catch. Your tendons.
Anyway, it's just like turning a ball. Start in the center. Okay, now you have to decide how thin you want to go. So if you want to go really thin, don't turn it to thickness in stages. Leave some wood behind it to support it. So I'm going to try to see how. Oops. Oh, that's just for the. Generally, what I do is check the thickness. Just a pair of calipers. Is give you something to aim for, because depending upon your lighting. And then once you get an area where you want it, go ahead and smooth it out with a scraper. And then try not to go back to that area. And again, don't reach in.
Are you cutting from the right side or left side of your garden? Because one of them looks like you're going.
So I cut both ways. Sometimes this is the classical way. And then sometimes I've learned to do it. Let me take a pencil out of my. This way, it can be risky. But if you just touch it and then rotate until it starts to cut, and then just maintain that, it will blow up on you if you rotate it too far. We're into normal wood now, in the sense that it's not an interrupted cut. You have to stop often and check your thickness, because you can't stick your fingers in there to find out where you're at. And that's it. And then also, again, if you're working with greenwood, apply CA glue to the line, hold it in. Do your sanding, finishing, and then turn the bottom of it off. What, turn the bottom off? I do.
We went up.
I have a series of waste blocks that I glue a piece of leather to. Here's one that fits in another check. That's part of an old boot. I tend to not throw stuff away. I think we're all guilty of that.
Returners? No.
How many little pieces of wood have you sworn you're going to do something with?
Oh,
You know, before I had a bandsaw, you know, I have a small piece of wood, you know, I just throw it away. And then I got a bandsaw and it's like, they're everywhere. I have 5-gallon buckets that when I cut stuff off that I know that I'm not going to use, I throw it in there and I take it home to use to barbecue with. Anyway, so I'm dumping it into my barrel that I store it in and it's like, oh, wait a minute. I can do something with this. Where's the rest of my lathe? Excuse you. Make it a little concave so that it I have a detail gouge that I used to make it thinner, but I didn't bring it with me. Anyway, I'm going to cut myself if I continue.
I was just wondering how many Band-Aids I had in my purse.
So anyway, that's it. And when you sand it, again, you're going to have to either hand sand it or with a small disc with it stationary. Smooth out any ridges you may have. And But then once you get past, I've got a lump in here, sorry. Anyway, once you get past here, you can spin it to smooth it out and then put your finish on it. And again, the bark came off, so just go ahead and take it all off and do that. This was turned with a whole section of log. I mean, just the whole log. And I left, the tendon was out here. And then I got this part turned, and then this kind of looks like it needs an ice cream scoop. Scoop of ice cream in it. And that one, I turned that one green and the bark stayed on. I didn't sand it, I was just plain.
What keeps it from going all you want?
It's thin, it dries fast, so it's cattywampus to begin with. A little bit more, it's not going to hurt. And then here's another practice. I've been practicing this, and I did it with my little lathe because just to see how it would work. And it worked fine. And then again, if the bark comes off after you sand it, put the finish on, and then you can color the rim. This was done with a black Sharpie, and it just sort of sets it off.
Was this a whole piece too? Or
No, I was just a little thicker. Anyway, as far as the proportions go, it depends on what you want. I mean, you can make it depending on the capacity of your lathe, you can make it any size you want. So you'll see the shape develop as you do it. It's a lot of fun. It teaches you a lot of tool control. And you have to have sharp tools, but you have to spin it fast, because if you spin it slow, it's chunk, chunk. And the faster you spin it, the smoother the cuts are. And again, round it out like you would normally a ball until the shape develops. And then from the lip down, shape it, because otherwise it's going to have the bark edge is not going to be smooth. So cut from here around that way. And so anyway, you want a piece to practice with.
Was this hackberry?
No, it's Arizona ash. Another thing you have to look at is that log, in a perfect world, all the logs would be the same diameter all the way up and down. And you get one log that starts to swell out. And if it does, you're going to have to adjust it so that the edges are even. Like this log has there was a knot or something in it. So if you turn this, either turn this away completely, and then it would be the same level. Anyway, you just got to play games with it. It's wood. It grows on trees. So. And mesquite does make a really nice natural edge bowl because you have such contrast between the hardwood and the softwood and the bark. And just when you turn mesquite, the bark will dull your tools like that. So be prepared to sharpen, and that's just the way it goes. But until you get past the bark, it's gonna eat the tool up. The edge is gonna go like that. So just be prepared. The Arizona ash is good. Red oak is good. Any tree is good. Osage orange or bodark is real good. Anyway, it's fun and it teaches good tool control. So
Thank you very much.
that's it.
Anybody else for Nick?